Hi, today I'm going to read a book called Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. Eric Carle is one of my favorite authors. Authors, not children's authors, just one of my favorite authors, period. And he's a great children's author. And so Eric Carle wrote this book called The Tiny Seed. It actually starts in autumn, which now it's spring, but I've been planting a lot of tiny seeds in my basement lately, and I take them out during the day because they're starting to sprout. So I'm going to read you this book. Even though it starts in autumn and it's spring, I'm still going to read it anyway because I'm in charge of this thing. Okay, it's called The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and it carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the other ones. Will it be able to keep up with the other ones? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the other ones. Up, up it goes, and it flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the other ones. There's the one that's burning up. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts and the seed can't grow, but the rest of the seeds fly on. The tiny seed doesn't go as fast as the other ones. This must be the tiny seed right there. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and it drowns. The other ones sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the other ones. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It's hot and dry and the seed can't grow. Not this one anyway. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Oh, it's there, right there. Got really close, but the wind got it. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently on the ground. And a bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. Right there. See that? The bird chose the big one. Just like us when you have a choice of a little cupcake or a big cupcake, you usually take the big one, right? Unless you don't like cupcakes. Who doesn't like cupcakes? Now it's winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they were going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. And a hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still, and the mouse doesn't see it. Sometimes it's good to be small. I know, I was one of the smaller ones in my class. Now it's spring. After a few months, the snow has melted, and it's really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls, and the seed grows so round and full that they start to burst open a little, all the seeds. Now they're not seeds anymore, they're plants. First they send roots down into the ground, right here. And then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air. There's another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It's a big fat weed. And it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants. And that plant dies. But the tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late, maybe. Hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. Right there, I believe. The tiniest plant with the tiniest little roots. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. Uh-oh. They too have been waiting for the sun in springtime. Not so much this year. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and uh-oh, he breaks one. Now, it can't grow anymore. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast. But its neighbor grows even faster. But before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. There's the tiny one. But what's happening? First there are footsteps, and then a shadow looms over them, and then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. It doesn't have a flower yet. If it's a he, maybe a she, we don't know. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. That's nice. Now it's summertime. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on, and it doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves and it grows taller and taller. In fact, now it's taller than the people. It's taller than the trees. It's taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this little flower. It's not so little. It is the tallest flower they've ever seen. It is actually a giant flower. I've never seen one that big. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They've never seen such a big and beautiful flower. It almost looks as big as the sun. It's got to be an optical illusion, right? But look at all those birds and bees around there. They look really happy. Now it's autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries the yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the seed pod opens up as the wind shakes the flower. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. And I guess it starts all over again. The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. Now I'm going to go tend to some of my tiny seeds that are growing in the basement. Bye.